Hi, my name is Emily, and I was about to have the happiest day of my life, until I found out something that nearly destroyed me. Let me rewind. Growing up, I always felt out of place. My parents were loving, but distant. I looked nothing like them. And every time I asked about my childhood, they'd change the subject. But I pushed the doubts away. I had a perfect fiancé, a perfect ring, a perfect future. Or so I thought. The day of my wedding, I went to look for my mom. She was supposed to help me with my dress. That's when I heard her. In the hallway, whispering frantically on the phone. I stopped, listened, and I heard something I'll never forget. She can't marry him. If she finds out she's adopted, everything will come crashing down. My heart stopped. Adopted? I wanted to scream, to cry, to run. But I had to know the truth. And the more I uncovered, the more horrifying it got. I couldn't breathe. I backed away from the door, heart pounding in my chest like it wanted to escape. Adopted. That one word echoed through my mind, over and over like a cruel joke. I had a million questions, and zero answers, but I couldn't confront my mom. Not yet. Not with makeup on my face and a veil in my hair. So I ran, not down the aisle, but back into the room where my childhood photo album was hidden. It was always locked away, but I knew where they kept the key. My hands were shaking as I flipped through the pages. My baby photos looked too perfect. Too new. No hospital wristband. No pregnancy photos. No baby shower. Then, I found a single folded paper hidden behind the last page. I unfolded it slowly. And there it was. An old adoption form. No date. No names. Just one word stamped across it. Confidential. Suddenly, my entire life felt like it was scripted by someone else. And I was just an actor in their perfect little lie. I stormed into the living room, still in my wedding dress, clutching the adoption form like it was about to burst into flames. My mom's smile froze. "Emily," she asked, confused. "Sweetheart, what are you? Tell me the truth." I held up the paper, my hand trembling. "What is this?" She went pale. My dad stood up slowly. Neither of them said a word. "I'm adopted, aren't I?" I choked out. "You lied to me. My whole life." They looked at each other. Then my mom broke. "Yes," she whispered. And just like that, my heart shattered. "But it's not what you think," my dad tried to explain. "We weren't allowed to tell you. There were conditions." Conditions? I laughed bitterly. What am I, some kind of government secret? Silence. That silence said everything. They knew something. Something huge. And suddenly I realized. This wasn't just about being adopted. This was about why I was adopted. And whoever gave me up didn't want me to know the truth. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in my room, wedding dress crumpled around me, replaying everything in my head like a broken film reel. Around 3 a.m., I wandered through the house, aimless. That's when I saw the old upright piano in the corner, the one my mom always said was off limits for storage. I don't even know why I opened the bench. Maybe I just wanted to feel like something still made sense. But inside, a velvet pouch. Inside that a letter. Yellowed, folded perfectly, and addressed to a name I had never heard before. To Alara on her 18th birthday. My hands shook as I read it. It was from someone calling themselves A. The letter said I wasn't supposed to stay here. That my destiny had been stolen. That if I was reading this, the others might be in danger too. It ended with a phrase that burned into my brain. You were meant to lead them. Led who? What was this even about? Suddenly, it wasn't just about who I was. It was about what I was meant to be. And whatever it was, someone had worked really hard to keep me from finding out. I couldn't go back to sleep after that. The name in the letter haunted me, Alara. It didn't feel like just a name. It felt like a key to a door I didn't even know existed. By morning, I was online, deep in a rabbit hole of forums and encrypted message boards, following every mention of that name. And then I found it. A group. Hidden. Protected by multiple layers of passwords. Its name, The Divergence. There were pictures, blurry, encrypted, but I recognized faces. One of them was my neighbor, Natalie. Another looked exactly like a girl I once saw in a dream when I was 10. They were all girls my age, all born the same year, all adopted under unusual circumstances. I wasn't the only one. The hairs on my arms stood up, This was bigger than me, and someone had kept us all in the dark for a reason. I had to find them. I messaged one of the girls from the forum. Her username was Echo13. I didn't expect a reply, but she wrote back within seconds. You shouldn't have found us. Before I could respond, she sent another message. But now that you have, you need to know the truth. She asked if I'd ever had strange dreams, ones that felt real, places I'd never been, people I'd never met but somehow knew. I had, for years. I used to think they were just nightmares, but she told me they weren't dreams. They were memories, leaked fragments of who I used to be before the reset, before I became me. Apparently, all of us, Divergents, had been part of an experimental program. Not just adoption, something deeper. Our personalities were created, tested, rewritten, over and over, until they got it right, until they got us. And now they were watching again. After that night, I couldn't sleep. I started searching everywhere. Old records, birth certificates, anything. But every document about my past looked perfect. Too perfect. Like they were made by the same hand. I even asked my parents. And that's when it all exploded. My mom froze. My dad looked terrified. He said something I'll never forget. You weren't supposed to ask those questions. I ran to my room, locked the door. My hands were shaking as I typed back to Echo 13. Who did this to us? The reply came instantly. The Institute. And just like that, the lights in my room flickered, then went out completely. I opened my laptop again. The screen was blank. Then a message appeared and read, You have been flagged. That message haunted me. You have been flagged. I didn't know what it meant until the knock on the door. Not just any knock. A slow, calculated thud, like someone wasn't in a hurry to be polite. My parents didn't answer. I crept downstairs and saw black vans outside, men in suits. I ducked back upstairs, heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst out of my chest. I texted Echo 13. What do I do? They're here. No answer. No answer. Then finally, run. Now. So I did. I grabbed a backpack, shoved in a hoodie my phone, some cash, and jumped out the window. I didn't look back. I ran barefoot through the woods behind our house, branches clawing at my skin, adrenaline making everything feel like a dream. But I wasn't dreaming. The Institute was real. And now they were hunting me. I didn't stop running until I couldn't breathe. I collapsed near an old abandoned hunting trail, somewhere deep in the woods. My phone had 2% battery left. No signal. No idea where I was. That's when I saw it. A faint light flickering between the trees. A cabin. I didn't even hesitate. I stumbled toward it, weak, soaked, freezing. I knocked once. Then again. The door creaked open. An old man stood there, eyes sharp but kind. You're late, he said. I froze. What? He stepped aside and motioned me in. I was expecting you. Took you longer than I thought. I was too tired to argue. Inside, the place looked like a mix between a survivalist's bunker and a hacker's den. Maps, old computers, notes pinned all over the walls. A photo of me as a baby. Who are you? I demanded. He looked at me, serious. I knew your mother. Before the Institute took her. I didn't even know how to respond. My mother? He nodded. They lied to you about everything, Mila. Your name, your family, your purpose. But if you're ready, I can show you the truth. And just like that, my world shifted again. The man, who finally introduced himself as Elias, handed me a box. Inside were old photographs, a journal, and a key. One of the photos showed my mother, smiling, young, and unmistakably pregnant. She didn't die in a car crash, Mila, Elias said softly. That was a story the Institute told you. I couldn't breathe. But they showed me, they said. They showed you what they wanted you to see. Your mother was a whistleblower. She tried to expose what the Institute was really doing, what they were doing to you. I opened the journal. Her handwriting. Pages filled with coded entries. Diagrams. Coordinates. She knew you were special, he continued. But she didn't want them using you like a science experiment. She tried to run. She got caught. Tears blurred my vision. My whole life, the scholarships, the special tutoring, the endless blood tests, it was all part of something else. But why me? I whispered. Elias looked me in the eye. Because you were the key, Mila. You were born with something they couldn't replicate. And now they'll stop at nothing to get you back. I didn't sleep that night. I reread my mother's journal a dozen times, tracing every word with my finger like it was sacred scripture. The coordinates she'd written, they pointed to a location deep in the mountains, somewhere remote and maybe dangerous. But Elias was sure, whatever was hidden there, it was proof. Of the experiments, of the manipulation, of everything. I had a choice. Go back to the Institute and pretend I knew nothing. Or disappear, vanish with Elias, chase the truth, and never look back. The next morning, I made my decision. I slipped into the dorms one last time. My roommate Layla was still asleep. I left her a note. I'm sorry I lied. Thank you for being my only real friend. M. I took only what I needed. A flashlight, the journal, and the key. But just as I stepped outside, there they were. 2 Institute agents. Black coats. Cold eyes. Mila Rodriguez. One of them said, "You're coming with us." I ran. My legs moved before my brain caught up. I darted between trees, climbed fences, didn't stop until my lungs burned. I could hear them behind me. This wasn't about scholarships anymore. This was survival. Elias found me 2 days later, half-starved and hiding inside a collapsed watchtower near the coordinates. "I thought they got you," he whispered, tears in his eyes. But I was still standing, and I was done running. Together, we followed the final trail, a rusted gate, a forgotten bunker, and a code from my mother's journal. The door opened with a metallic groan. Inside, shelves of tapes, photos, documents, footage of children in white gowns hooked up to machines, notes on memory extraction, emotional dampening, and selective identity reprogramming. And then I found it, a file marked Project Mila. My name, my face, every fabricated memory, every test, every lie. I collapsed to my knees. I wasn't a scholarship student. I was an experiment. I wanted to burn it all, erase every trace. But Elias stopped me. "We need to show the world," he said. "Not for revenge, for the others." It took weeks to leak the files without getting caught. But we did it, and the world listened. The Institute was dismantled. Investigations opened. Whistleblowers came forward. And me, I disappeared. No interviews, no fame. Just a quiet life by the coast, working at a bookstore, breathing fresh air and building my own memories, this time real ones. Sometimes people still talk about the girl who exposed the Mind Institute. They don't know it was me. And that's okay, because I do. If this file left you thinking, feeling, or questioning your own memories, then you're exactly the kind of person we love having in our secret circle. Olkey. Hit like to let the algorithm know the truth matters. Subscribe to unlock more of Ruby's hidden files. And don't forget to share this video with someone who's not afraid to dig deeper. Every story leaves a trace. You found Mila's. Who will you uncover next?